Recording in progress.
All right, guys. All cameras should be on, fellas.
So,
Hey, all cameras should be on.
oops.
There we go. All right, guys. I'm going to let Coach go ahead and begin. As you know, we'll let questions happen towards the end, but be attentive, take everything in, be knowledgeable, be willing to grow as players and young men. All right. So I'm gonna let Coach introduce himself and kind of talk about his journey. And when he's done, we'll open up the floor for questions. All right.
All right, guys. Just first of all, it's a pleasure. It's always good to talk to young men that are trying to get to that next level, man. Basketball is a wonderful sport. I love it. I've been playing it my whole life. I still try to play it. But I'm a little older now. My players will tell you I still be giving them buckets though, so that's all good. But yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about background about me. I've been playing basketball since I was 5. I've played on high school, played JUCO ball for a couple of years. I also played some professional ball. So I've kind of played at every level. And after, my 2 years in JUCO, I played for Triton College. From there, actually my second year, we finished 8th in the nation among JUCOs. So, after that, we were all like, I was coming off the bench. So I was a main guy, but not a main guy. I wasn't a starter. I was coming off the bench. I was trying to, go in and get my 10 points a game. I was a shooter / scorer kind of deal. And so, all of us really got offers from that team because of the success of our team. And so, unfortunately for me, I didn't have any more eligibility left. So I just went ahead and went to transferred to 4-year school, finished out my degree. From there, got married, and then started working. I worked in nonprofit for about 13 years. Midway through, I was like, I want to give back to the sport that's given me a lot. So I went ahead and I started pursuing a coaching career. My wife was like, because I was like, at that point, I think I was like 38 and I was still trying to go to tryouts and semi-pro teams and stuff like that. My wife was like, babe, don't you think it's time for you to maybe you can transition to coaching? So I was like, I'm not a coach. I'm not going to coach. I want to play. You want to play. And so finally I listened and did it, and it's been great ever since. For the past 10 years, I've been coaching and just trying to perfect my craft. I spent, 3 years in high school. I've been coaching some AAU basketball as well. So I was a JV coach for 2 years and I moved up to a varsity coach. And then from there, I came to Moody where I'm at now. I was assistant coach there last year. This past season, my first year as head coach. And we're just looking to have another great opportunity next year to play good basketball as a team. So, for me, coaching has been great because I've been able to kind of really teach and develop young men, and that's something I've always wanted to do. And I didn't realize it until after I stopped playing and started focusing in on it, how rewarding it is. For me, I always want to learn something from every situation. So I go into it looking to not only teach, but learn at the same time. I feel like, and I tell my players this a little bit too, this is a cross thing. I'm learning from you, you're learning from me. I'm learning how to be a better coach. I'm hoping you learn how to be a better basketball player. And that's my perspective about things. I want to make sure that I'm not treating every player the same. We're all unique individuals. So as a coach, I want to make sure that I'm giving every player the opportunity that they need, and to do the best that they can be, and that's always my goal. And just to inspire young men, to play better, to live better too, because that's important. Moody is a Moody Bible Institute, so it is a Bible college kind of deal. So faith does come into play a lot. in everything that we do. And so that's important to me. That's important to the men on our team. And we just do our best to make sure that we're showing that and being that example, not only to each other, but example to our community that we're in. So our school, our fellow students, our professors, we're living and striving to be that example. And nobody's perfect. We make mistakes. We all do. But I always say it's not, the mistake you make is how you respond to that mistake, and you got to have the right response. You got to hold yourself accountable, step up, apologize if you need to apologize, but you got to move forward and you got to say, hey, this is it. I did it. I made a mistake, and move on, because that's what's important. Because if you wallow in those mistakes, they become failures, and you don't want that. You want your mistakes to just simply be that, and you get right back on track. So that's pretty. I'm not a long-winded talker. So I like to have questions. I like to have conversations. Except for CP tell me that I am a long-winded talker. But I want to hear from you guys, because I want to. The reality is you're trying to get to that college level. You got questions. You're moving to a place that's unknown. I know I've been there. You're going from high school that you're familiar with for the past 4 years. You know that environment. You're confident in that environment now, especially as a senior, junior. You've been there, and you're going to college. It's like you're a small fish in a big pond, and so you got a lot of questions about what that world is like. So I want to answer those questions. I don't want to take up the time with me talking about what I've done and stuff like that, because it's not really about me. If I'm here to mentor you, I need to know what you guys have on your mind, and so I can converse with you and hopefully answer some of those questions, if not all of them. I've been around a long time. I got a lot of answers. Hopefully, maybe not be the right answers, but I got some answers. So yeah.
So you speak on how you were in college, and all I ever wanted to do was play college ball. And I know that you said that you were one of the top guys, but you weren't the top guy. But I'm pretty sure before college you were like the top guy. So like, how did that mentality switch? Like, how did you have to play your role in a sense? Like, what made you realize that, okay, everybody go eat here, but this is how I gotta eat?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. It was the reality for me that I wanted to play. And at the end of the day, when you want to play, you make the sacrifices it takes to play. You know, we had a good team. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to have that experience. And so I made up my mind and said, hey, I'm gonna play my best and I'm gonna take advantage of every opportunity. The first year, was my first year in JUCO was tough. We were playing hard basketball with like 7 guys for half the season, and I was playing from point guard to center position. It was tough, but that season taught me how bad I really wanted it. And so when our second season came around and we had a bigger squad and we had a good 10, 12 guys, I was like, I'm not playing like I was playing last year, thank God. Because you log in a lot of minutes and you playing a lot of positions, it's hard to, it's a challenge to do that. You can do it, but it's not your game, you know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta set the mode, set the role for the position you're playing. So if you're playing center and power forward, you boxing out trying to grab rebounds every possession, You playing shooting guard, small forward, maybe you get a rebound every other possession kind of deal. You're trying to box out, but you're doing a lot more scoring on that level. And then the point guard, you're running the floor. So you're making sure everybody's getting looks. You're trying to pass that ball to people and things like that. So that's the reality of the situation, is like, I had to change my mindset and be like, at the end of the day, what is my goal? What is my priority? My priority is to play basketball, right? And when it gets down to it, it's like, hey, at the end, that's what I want to do. I want to play. So what's going to give me the opportunity to play? Now, I'm going to say this to you because my situation may be different than your situation. In some situations, you're going to get in, you're going to be with coaches, and maybe those coaches aren't treating you right. If you're not getting treated right, that's something different than playing time. You know what I'm saying? So understand the difference between the two, because you can not get treated right and you feel like, oh, I'm better than this. I should be starting, or I should be getting more minutes than I'm getting. That's okay to have that feeling, but make sure that coach is treating you fairly and you in a good environment. You know what I'm saying? Because I like honesty. I like people to be upfront with me and tell me what it's going to be, you know. And I felt like my second year in JUCO, he sat down, you know, like I'm coming off the bench. I'm like, all right, cool, you know. And like I came into that team thinking I was going to be starting and averaging 18, 20 points a game, but things changed, you know. And I had to adjust and had to analyze, hey, do I want to stay here and deal with this, or do I want to go someplace else? So I stayed, you know, and it was, for me, it was the right decision. But for you, it may be something different. So I want you to have that always in mind. Have those, and I'll say that to you too. And I know I say this to CP and them a lot. You got to talk. You got to communicate. Can't nobody read what's going on in your mind. So if you're not feeling right about something, it's okay to go have that conversation with your coach. That's okay to do, you know. So if things not going right, go to your coach and be like, hey, you know, coach, you know, why I'm not getting more playing time? What can I do to get more playing time? Is there something I'm missing out on? Have that conversation, because if they care about you, they're gonna share the information with you. And then when they see you making the changes and adjustments, they're gonna give you more opportunity.
Coach, that was a great insight. But before the boys answer any more questions, ask any more questions, Chris, I know that you had a similar kind of role with recruitment and get into your path. Can you just speak on about how your recruitment happened in your first year at college and kind of get these boys an insight of what it's like to get to where you're at now?
So me, I actually am from St. Louis, like a lot of y'all. I played at Parkway Central. I went through every phase of high school. I played freshman ball, JV ball, varsity, AAU. Like I played it all. And then coming into, I would say the hardest part for me coming into college and everything was just the transfer portal and everything. But once I found Moody and I contacted Coach, and me and Coach started building a relationship once I got here, like everything was just, it was lovely from that point. And I like Moody. I like the way they went about things, the way they treated me here. And that was my biggest reason of coming here at Moody and furthering my basketball and furthering myself as a person and things like that.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Hard,
Say that again.
your recruitment hard? Was you a big name coming out of your senior? Like, was it hard for you to get any looks or get anybody to kind of invest in you during your senior year?
It was hard for me to get looks because I wasn't a big name. Like I'm trying to think. I probably had about leaving high school. I probably had about 3 offers. So, and like I said, that was the year right after COVID. So it was hard getting to that next level. But it's just about staying committed to yourself and having faith in yourself, that staying positive, knowing that you're gonna get yourself there and God gonna get you there. That's the biggest thing, that just putting faith in God and trusting his process that he gonna get you to that next level. And it may not be D1, it may not be D2, D3, whatever, but having the opportunity to play at the next level, whatever the division is an amazing opportunity to have for anybody. I would say that.
Thank you so much, Chris.
No
I was
problem.
going to ask Coach or Chris any questions. Feel free to shoot your shot and get what you need. You think?
Everybody either thinking or went quiet.
Yeah, I got some unsigned seniors in here, so I don't know if you're looking for talent right now, Coach, but I got some unsigned seniors in here.
I'm always looking for talent, right, CP? But I would say this. I know one of the things I know CP and I have talked about recently is, and he just mentioned, is the transfer portal. And it's 2 things that's really impacting recruiting now that I don't think anybody planned for: transfer portal and the extra COVID year. So you got a lot of guys that were in college during that COVID time, and they got an extra year. So a lot of them are staying. And so they 25, 24 years old, playing for the extra year. So that means as a coach, I'm not really taking a hard look. I'm not saying me personally, but other coaches in D1, D2, they're not taking hard looks at guys that are freshmen unless they like top tier. I mean, top 20, top 50, up in there somewhere, And so the reality is, you're trying to get to that level, you're going to have to understand that transfer portal and that COVID is kind of really making it even more challenging for you to get to that level if you're not a top guy. So right now, and I've always felt this, and I heard Iman Shumpert say this a few years ago. You play your best game, you find a place to play, and they're gonna come find you if you're good. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna come find you. So that's the reality of it. And there's guys in the league right now that just playing. And they weren't at D1s, they weren't at D2s. I remember when I was growing up, it was Devin George was playing for the Lakers, and he was a D3 guy. But he won a championship with the Lakers and everything. So it's like you have to understand opportunity is there, but what are you doing with that opportunity? You know, are you seizing that opportunity that you have? And with this climate that we're in, especially as you guys are in a school that you feel like, oh, I should be at D3, or I should be at D2, I should be at D1, it's harder. It's harder now because those guys are saying, should I get a raw 18-year-old that I got to develop, or should I get a 24-year-old guy that's done redshirted a couple years, got an extra COVID year, and probably got 3 years of eligibility left, and been practicing with D1 talent for the past 3 or 4 years? Which one should I get? And I tell you, those coaches are thinking I'm getting that 24-year-old, and we going and we trying to win a championship. That's the mentality they have now. So I encourage you, as CP said, whatever opportunity you have, pick the best space for you. The people that really want you are always going to treat you well. So if those coaches are talking to you and recruiting you and calling you and trying to get up with you, that means that they really want you. And more than likely, they're going to treat you better. Then you go on to a place where you're like, oh, this is D2, and it sound good and it look good, but the coach maybe had one conversation with you, and you've been talking to the second assistant coach for the past 2 months. That's a big difference. And you gotta know the difference between the two.
Coach, I like that you just brought up D1, D2, and I know that you guys are NCAA. Can you kind of break down what kind of division you guys are in?
Yeah, so we are NCAA D2, and that stands for National Christian College Athletic Association. And even still with that situation, our level of talent is good, but I mean, I feel like because of the stuff that's going on, it's getting a lot better, and it's gotten a lot better over the years. We still play D3 schools. We still play NAIA schools. So we still play all of the, you know, if you go to another D3 and maybe you're sitting on the bench, you know, you come to Moody, it's a reality that you probably play fairly quickly because we don't have a lot of guys, to be honest with you, you know. So it's an understanding the opportunity to play is there, you know. So you go to another, you know, NAIA, I know we play Roosevelt University, their NAIA, they got like 30, 40 guys on the team. You know, and the coach is not telling you that before you get there. To be honest with you, because they trying to get their team together. And a lot of the NAIA schools and the D3 schools, they try to get a JV team and a varsity team. So you go in there thinking you're gonna be on a team, you're on a JV team, and you saying to yourself, man, this is a private institution. Maybe I'm paying $20,000 a year plus for my education, and I'm not even playing. And if I stay here, maybe in the next 3 years I might play. So that's $60,000 plus. We got room and board, we got books, we got all that stuff you got to pay for, and you're not even getting the time that you need on the basketball court to get better. Because game situations are important, you know. So you have to have that in mind, because that same $20,000 you can take and go someplace else and play right away. That's really you investing in yourself. You know, you're saying, okay, I can go here, sit on the bench. Maybe I'll learn something, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be on a JV team, you know, but you go somewhere else, like I can play like now, let me go there so I can get that experience, you know, and get that experience is important because you get game film, just like you guys know in high school, you got game film, you get your highlight package together, you send it off to schools. It's the same thing when you're trying to go to professional. You got a college, you got your game film, you're trying to send that to your agents and things like that, hoping that you can get a good thing, or you sending it to teams, you know, and there's a lot of different semi-pro leagues out here and overseas and things like that. that you can go to and play in and maybe get on a team somewhere. But that film is important. But if you go into school and you've been sitting down for 3 years and don't have no film, I mean, that's putting you behind the 8 ball, really. You need that.
Hey, Coach, my name is Miguel, and I have a couple questions.
Yeah,
Like,
go ahead.
first of all, like I've been watching the past season of your team on YouTube, and like I got like do like some student athletes of yours like decided to like enter into the transfer portal, or like they decided like just go pro instead of like doing the 4 years of the university.
Can you say that question again? I heard like maybe every other word on that one.
Oh, sorry, like I've seen the tape of the last season, so like how do I like some guys like decided to go to another university or go to like straight to pro instead of like going all 4 years in the institute?
So the question is, you saw the video, you saw some tape and film, and some guys have
Yeah, my question is
decided
like
not to.
my question is like, do some people like decided to enter the transfer portal instead of on your team instead of like staying all 4 years?
No, that haven't happened to us. We haven't had anybody that left to go to the transfer portal. Everybody pretty much stayed. I mean, they left one. We got one guy that graduated, and then one guy that got married, and he's starting a family, so he's moving on, kind of deal. So that was that. Like these things, everybody got different priorities, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We haven't had anybody try to jump in that transfer portal.
Coach, I have another question. What would you say to what advice would you give to the underdog, basically the guy that's not getting the offers that he thinks that he should be getting, the guy that's putting in all the work, but it's still like not clicking to him, and it's about that time to start the recruitment process?
Yeah, I would say first of all, respect the offers that you are getting. That validates some of your work. There's old school saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So you got some offers that you are getting. Maybe it's not the offers you want, but respect those. Talk to those coaches that's calling you that you may not even be interested in going there. Talk to them, because what that's doing is that's saying, hey, I'm grateful for what I'm getting. I'm gonna manage this right, but also I'm gonna learn from this. So if you have a conversation with a school or a coach that you're not really interested in going to that school, if you treat that as a school that you are interested in going in, then you're gonna have a better experience. You're gonna learn more. So you're gonna maybe make some mistakes in that situation, but you can learn from those mistakes. So when that offer comes from that school you do want to go to, you're going to be prepared. You're going to have, know the questions you need to ask. You're going to know, hey, what does GPAs need to know? You're going to know what questions you need to ask the coaches. What's the team culture like? You're going to know all of that because of the experience you had before. That's the first thing I would tell you. Second, I would say you have to start being honest with yourself. And this is something I was just telling our younger guys, because I coach AAU basketball as well. And I was telling them, you have to develop the skill set of being critical on yourself. The great players, they have great games, it's not enough. They don't walk away from them games thinking, oh, I scored 40, oh, I scored 50. No, they walk away thinking, man, why didn't I hit that free throw I shot? Why didn't I make that jump shot that was wide open? They're always thinking about how their game could have been better. They're harder on themselves. When you see old clips of like Kobe, Mike, Magic Johnson, these dudes, and you hear these conversations that they're having about like their thought process in this sport of basketball and their competitiveness, you'll understand that they consistently were very critical on themselves. And so when you're that critical, you can be honest with who you are, right? And when you become honest with who you are, then you get confidence in who you are, right? But if you lying to yourself all the time, then guess what? You're not gonna have that confidence because anybody gonna be able to come in there and shake you, right? They're gonna come in there and they're gonna talk a little more trash or play a little better or hit a shot on you. And then you're gonna start second guessing who you are. Right? So you have to understand in the situation, honesty is gonna build that confidence for you. And so you're gonna be able to say, hey, man, you know, I'm not that good of a ball handler, but maybe I got like a great mid-range shot, right? That's honesty. So you're gonna say, okay, so I need to work on my ball handling now because I know I'm not that good of a ball handler. I need to work on my longer range shot, but I need to also keep perfecting my mid-range and know that's your go-to. You know, you look at guys like DeMar DeRozan, you know, he a mid-range guy, right? But the whole league is turning into a three-point league. That phase in him? Because he's confident in who he is. He's honest about who he is as a basketball player. He'll shoot a three from time to time. I'm not saying he won't if he's open. But his game is a mid-range, and he stays within that. And when you start realizing that your game and the way you play is going to help, you know, your team and, you know, your school and everything like that, you're going to be more confident about who you are and become a better basketball player. Because the thing that separates a lot of the greats from the good, confidence. That's what separates it. Just like right now, we watching the playoffs and we seeing LeBron James and Dylan Brooks, right? And Dylan Brooks was uber confident until LeBron hit that 2020 on him. And now he like, oh, no comment in the press. No comment, no talking to them, right? Because that's the difference. Dylan Brooks is a good player. LeBron James is a great player. You have to understand the difference between the two. The real difference is that mentality. The great players have a different mentality, you know, and you have to make sure you have that, but you got to develop that. And that first starts with being honest with who you are as a basketball player and as a person, and then activating that and making sure you're playing within that, but at the same time, expanding your game, you know, working on things. And it's me working on stuff on your own time. Because, and I'm going to say this because I know CP done heard me say this before, like, you can go in the gym and put up shots. If they ain't good shots, them shots is pointless. What you'll find out is that great basketball players train differently. You'll go in there, maybe you say, oh, I'm putting up 100 shots a day. They'll go in there and they'll say they're putting up 100 game time shots, meaning they running up and down the court, you know, pulling up mid-range, pulling up three-pointers, and they moving the whole time. It's a constant movement. You know, regular guys coming in I'm just shooting 100 shots on half court side. That's it. I did it and go home. You know, that's the difference. So you got to have that mentality that, hey, if I want to get to that professional level, I got to act like I'm a professional right now, especially in the workouts you're doing. Did that answer your question, Jason?
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
Thank you.
good.
Coach, how important is somebody's character in your program or in any college program?
Man, it's everything to me, man. It's everything to me. You got to have that character. You know, for me, and that's gonna make you or break you. Make you or break you, to be honest. You know, because character gets you further than skills ever will. It will get you further than talent ever will. Because if you got the right character, a coach will get you and be like, hey, I can have this guy on my team, and he's not at the same level as this other guy, but he's going to be that steady, faithful guy that's there every day, putting in work and being an example. So every time somebody's like, well, I don't want to practice. Well, my guy right here don't get no playing time, and he ain't the talent. He practicing before and after practice. What you doing? You supposed to be so talented. If he got to put in that work to do that, so do you. You know, and coaches love that. From me as a coach, I love that. When I got guys that's working like that, I'm going to the gym, I'm seeing them working out before practice. I'm leaving practice and they still there. I like that even they talent ain't that good, I'm finding playing time for them. And they're there, they're communicating, they on the bench clapping and cheering for their teammates. They're saying positive, encouraging words instead of negativity. You know, those players, they're gonna find playing time with me. And I will argue any coaches like that. You know, and the more your character is solid and you're giving a coach the attitude that he needs to be successful, that he wants to see in his team, it's gonna work out for you.
Hey, coach, I got a question. So, how do you know the decision that you made for like the school is the right decision?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question. There's a tingling in your belly. No, I know. I wish that was it. I wish it was easy like that. I'm gonna be honest, man. What you gotta do, you gotta ask questions. Don't just ask the coach questions, ask his players questions. You know, you got to do your research, as they say, right? For me, I'm bringing recruits in. I want my guys that I got on the team to talk to the recruits. I want them to, because they're going to get more information from my guys than they will from me. And then also, they got to play with these guys. So you're going to find out about these players and be like, oh, he barely want to talk to me. So if he don't even want to talk to me, he definitely going to want to pass me the ball. You know, he definitely going to want to be help side and help. Man, beat me. He's not going to step up help side and help me out. So I can't really go with that. So you gotta, that's gonna help you find out which place is best for you. You want to make an informed decision. So to make an informed decision, you got to get as much information as possible. You know, so you talking to the coaches, you talking to the players, if you can. You know, you're doing research online and seeing, hey, like, what was the difference between the roster from this year and last year? Who left, who stayed? How many left and who stayed? If you're looking at that roster and like 10 guys left, well, these guys seniors, why they leave? You know, that should be something that's in your mind is saying, like, I need to ask this question to the coaches and be like, hey, I saw your roster from last year. This year was like 10 men different. What happened? What happened with that situation? See, when you have that information, you can ask the right questions. And you'll put the coaches in a spot to hopefully tell you the truth instead of sell you a dream. Because a lot of these coaches, they're going to sell you a dream and they're going to be like, yeah, you're going to be able to do this, you're going to come here, blah, blah. And you get there, it's like, work your way into even practice time. Now, I want you to understand that you got to work your way into practice time. Because I done heard guys like, I don't even get that much time in practice. I'm like, man, that's terrible. You know, that situation is tough. So the more information you have about the school that you want to go to, the better. You know, and then taking that information and asking the questions. And no question is a dumb question in this situation. Every question you have needs to have an answer to it. You know why? Because they have to prove to you that they're worthy of your presence on their team. You understand that?
Yeah.
So they gotta prove to you that you know, hey, you want me to be here, you gotta show me that you deserve to have me. We can't go into situations thinking like, oh, I need them. You gotta go into situations thinking, oh, they need me. You know? And that's a different perspective. Because now, yeah, you got a body of work that you have. You have, you know, you've put the work in, you've trained, you've done the things you need to do, and you're who you are as a basketball player. And they're reaching out saying that you can be good on their team. Okay, great. You've looked at me. Now I need to look at you and evaluate you and see if you're a great fit for me. Because at the end of the day, and a lot of people don't understand this, coaches have a lot of power with the trajectory of players. You know, I was having to argue. Well, we want to argue. It was, as I said, heated discussion with my guys, my other coaches, and we were talking like, you know, hey, if LeBron James came up back in Michael Jordan's day, would he still be who he is today? My argument was no, he wouldn't be. And this is why I said that, because back in the day, coaches were taking 6'8" dudes and they was putting them in the post. And they was making them play big. LeBron James came up in the era after Scottie Pippen existed, after Magic Johnson existed. All these guys that played and had success that were bigger guards. And so he got the fruit of their labor, you know? So to understand that is like, so if he would have back then, I felt like he'd have been a power forward. And he'd had to have a post game. That was my argument. But, you know, I don't think I won because they was like, nah, you wrong. So I think I lost it. But understand that coaches do have a lot of control in that. Your coach is going to decide about you as a basketball player. That's the power that they have. They're going to decide how much playing time you get. They're going to decide what position you play. You know, when you get the ball, when you don't get the ball, should you even be dribbling the ball? You know, all of these things. I've seen coaches tell players, you can't dribble, stop dribbling. Plain and simple. You can't shoot, stop shooting. I've heard that myself. Like, you can't shoot, stop shooting, man. I've heard that myself. That's what you grow up in. So it's like now a lot of coaches ain't saying those type of things. So it's a lot more freedom to be creative, which is great. I love it. That's what I want my players to do. I want them to be creative. But the reality is, even in those worlds, coaches have a lot of control because they'll elevate one guy over another guy. Not because the one guy is better, just because the coach might like that guy a little bit more. And it don't even make sense to the other player because he's saying himself like, man, I'm better than that dude. Why is he getting more playing time than me? I know I'm better than him. I will kill him in one-on-one. My team beat him in practice every day. He's playing him more. Even when and it's like, so that's the reality, you know? So it's like you get in that situation and the coach won't even tell you why sometimes. Even if you ask. Probably give you some, you know, PC kind of answer to that question. So understand that when you're making these decisions, that coaching role is important. And he got to want you, he got to care about you, and he got to want to see you succeed. He has to. And he has to be giving you opportunity to succeed. You know, so that's what you should be looking for your coaches. And you should be asking those questions. Like, what do you see me doing on this team? How do you see me impacting this team? Because when I went to Triton, before I got there, the coach that recruited me, he set me down in his office like, hey, I see you coming here scoring 18, 19 points a game, replacing my guy I got this graduate. I'm like, cool. I'm cool with that. Boom. He take a job and go to another school someplace else. We don't know who the new coach is. I haven't talked to the new coach. It's like maybe a month before the season. No, it's like 2 months before the season start. It's like May, I think, at this time. He like, I run into one of the guys that was working out with the team, and he says, oh, okay, come, Dre, we working out. We're working out on Thursdays. And I go, and he's like, all right, cool. I meet the coach, everything cool, but I'm not number one on his list no more. You know, that's where we at right now. And I had to make a decision, do I still want to play for this guy who is a first year coach, you know, and I'm not number one, you know. So I took the challenge and said yes and still played because that's just who I am. I'm crazy sometimes. So, and I like the competition, you know, I like that. I like being an underdog because I know I'm gonna put in the work. I know I am. So for me, I was like, I'm gonna find a way on this team. I'm gonna find a way to play. I'm gonna find minutes because I know how to do stuff that these other guys can't do. And they're not willing to do. They're not willing to change their game. I was, you know, I was willing to. I was at that time. I was one of the best shooters they had at Triton. I'm ready to shoot. That's what I say. Like my first year, I'm playing power forward and center and small forward. Like, man, I can't get no buckets, you know. But this is what it is, you know. So that's the mentality you got to have. You got to come in there with the sense that, hey, you want me here. Why do you deserve to have me? Why do you deserve to have me? Why am I willing to why should I be willing to give my career to you? You know, and those are answers that you want, you know.
I know some of the boys are afraid to ask this question, so I'm gonna ask for them.
Oh yeah.
What is it that you're missing on your team right now for those that are graduating this upcoming May or that are looking to transfer? And next year, what would you be missing to gain and looking to gain for the 2024?
Yeah, I would say right now on our team, I think we're missing bigs, of course. You know, we got nice guards, you know, but we need some bigs. we was in regional game last season, this past season, and the other team had a 6'11" dude. And in the first half, it was tied. We was in the game. They changed the whole game plan, went down to him for the rest of the game. And he wasn't even that good, but he was just 6'11". It's like, what they say, you can't teach height, And he was like, I kid you not, he was missing like layups left and right, but he was getting his own rebound because he was right there. And we couldn't recover. So, and then we fouling, he getting on the free throw line, he making 1 or 2. And, they just went on a run on us, so we couldn't recover. So, for us, I know we need some bigs. That's what I've been looking for. But also, I'm looking also to, I never put myself in a box. I never like to put players in a box. So I'm looking for guys that can hoop too. Just like, you want to hustle, you want to grind it out. I want you. Those are guys I'm looking for. Like, that work ethic is impeccable. I want that person. Because they're going to play more than their position. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to play outside of their position because they've got the work ethic. They putting that time in. So every moment they're on the court, they're going to treasure that. And they're going to give their all. So those are guys I'm looking for, And, so outside of that, I mean, like I said, I'm looking for basketball IQ, guys that's been playing for a while. Traditionally, Moody hasn't been like a recruiting program. I'm the first coach I felt like that's really done recruiting there. They really just would get anyone that is accepting to the school. Y'all want to play basketball on the team? Yes, let's go. Which somewhat worked out for him, but not that much. So for me, I came in like, I want to bring guys here that want to play ball, and high character, good work ethic, great in the classroom, men of faith. And those are the requirements and values I'm looking for. If you got any of those and you 6 feet, come on, let's go. We can make this thing work. Because CP will tell you, I want to press. I've been dying to press all for the last 2 years, and I just haven't been able to do it because I don't have the resources. So I want to press. That's what I want. I want to get up and down. I want to play. I want us to have fun, go out there and run some boys off the court. That's what I want to do. I want to put it. I want us to smell blood in the water and be tagging every play. That's what I want. And it's just been hard to do that without the manpower to do it. So that's where we're at as a program, really.
Any more questions, fellas? Don't ask shy now, because when I call in, y'all gonna text me like, dang, coach, I should have asked this question. Like, dang, coach, you think I got a chance? Like, this is your time to ask these questions, connect with coaches, see where you fit. If you fit, see what you need to do to get to the next level. This is the time.
Somebody asked a question on the chat, and I want to answer that real quick. She said, what do I mean by playing out of your position? So what I would say is, what that means is basically like, you probably a quintessential shooting guard, or you're a quintessential point guard. But, you like busted, coach, you need me to play small forward, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to play that hard, So that's what I mean, like playing out of your position. And because honestly, the best basketball position is basketball. That's when you got 5 guys on the court that just play well together. And they're not worried about who's supposed to do what, because they're all trying to do that. They're all trying to rebound. They're all trying to, stick to good defense. You don't have a specialist that's working. You are out there playing as a team, and whatever role you playing for that possession, that's your role. So if you end up and we in a set and we doing the horns play and we got 2 screens coming up, and all of a sudden you find yourself in that and you're a shooting guard, play that role, pick and pop time. Like that's what I mean, playing out of your position. You're gonna play out your position. And that's how I wanted to kind of explain that. But somebody else had a question, I think, too.
Yes, sir, I do. Can you give you a call after this meeting? I don't know if you're available or not.
Can I get a call up? What did he say?
Oh yeah, can I call you after this meeting?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But Gil, I want that opportunity. I'm a big.
That's
But
what
Gil,
I was
go.
thinking.
Joe, definitely go. Definitely.
I hear you, Miguel. I hear you.
Any more
Yeah.
questions?
Hey, coach. How was it like? How did it feel like playing? You said you played like two positions. Like you were playing one position, then you had to change your position to play for like a different one. So like me, I'm a big, but I know like if I want to play next level, I gotta learn how to play as a guard. So
Mhm.
how was that? How did that feel like changing like a position that you knew, then playing, then like going to a whole nother thing, so, like playing guard, like the skill level
Mhm.
and all.
Well, I'll say to you, for me, preparation is key, right? So I've never worked out and been like, I'm only gonna be doing this. When I'm working out, I'm trying to, I'm working on post moves. Even I'm not a post up guy, but I'm working on, I'm working on ball handling. I'm working on shooting. I'm incorporating all of that because if I'm prepared in any situation, and I also can take advantage of any opportunity. So when I was training, when I was younger, stuff like that, I would, throw passes to myself in the post, turn around, do a, half hook, and I was 6'2", like doing this stuff, 6 feet doing this stuff. That's what I would do. I would come down, pull up mid range, come down, pull up 3-pointer. I'm working on my handles, trying to get a combo dribble, you know, and just working on all of those things because I was always of that mentality. Like if I'm prepared, I can do anything I want to on the basketball court when I need to, you know. And so that's always been my mindset. And because of that, when I've been called when he just played power forward today, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm good. You know, I'm a box out. I know how to box out. I got that covered, because I've practiced those things already. So when the opportunity came, I was ready. Nobody was like, oh, well, I need to train with you, so show you how to box out. I'm like, no, I got that, man. I've been doing that already. I'm working on it already. And a coach see that, they're like, okay, cool, like great. This is a person that's a self-starter. I don't have to, hold their hand and tell them everything they need to do to get better. You're already prepared and ready to go. So for you, if you go on to the next level, you feel like you need to be a guard, work on your ball handling, work on it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it don't got to be spectacular because CP will tell you I can't handle the ball that well. He probably can rip me, and I think he has a couple times. But the reality is, you got to have a move. That's it. You got to have one move and a counter move. That's really it. So if you got you a crossover, great. You look at guys like Carmelo Anthony. He had a nice crossover, but his greatest move he had was a jab step. He ain't never put the ball down. He jab step you 4 or 5 times and pull up on you. That was his move. So you have to understand, work on you a move that you can do that's, hey, when I got the ball, I can do this. I can dribble left and pull up, or I can cross over to my left and do a step back, whatever move you feel comfortable doing, and perfect that one move and then expand it from there, expand it from there. So if you're doing if you got a crossover to the left and you pull up, great. Now you got a crossover to the left, dribble one time, finish at the rim. Cross to the left, step back, boom. So now you've taken that crossover to the left and you've expanded it, not just with a jump shot, but with a move towards the basket, a move to step back. You've created more options for yourself and counters for yourself. So that's going to allow you to be ready for any opportunity that come up.
Thank you, coach.
Yeah.
Is that all? Going once? Going twice? All right.
I will say, I wanted to say, what we at on time? We got time, Dominic?
We got time.
Okay, cool. So I do want to talk about professional, because I got CP on here, and I'm sure DJ is listening in the background too. So, for me, and I'll tell you this, when I first got to college, I played around a little bit. I wasn't focused. I tried because I first went to college. I was at Chicago State University. They're D1 school. So I went to the tryout. They were terrible when I was there, so I can make this team. I just had this confidence, like this is possible. So I went to their tryout, didn't make the team. I was upset. And I didn't have anybody that was knowledgeable, had any wisdom about how this whole basketball thing worked. I had nobody to really turn to. So for me, they said after the trial, they was like, hey, reach out. You can reach out to me if you need any help and stuff like that. And we can help you along the way. And I was like, well, I need your help. Well, you don't want me to play for you. Like, I'm done. I was done with it. I was mad. So I went ahead and just started, playing and stuff like that. And I started going to a lot of semi-pro tryouts. And so that space taught me a lot about just basketball on a professional level. And, for me, it was that sense of you going to tryouts and it's just a different environment, a different vibe. And you're seeing a lot more selfish basketball because guys are trying to, show their skill set. And so I'm playing some tryouts, guys are like, every time down, they jacking. I'm just like, man, dude, this dude is terrible. He just keeps shooting. And then he making, he was maybe 2 for 10 or some junk like that. But it's just that reality when you go in that environment, very individual, very selfish. So as you guys are moving up to this, that's why I'm saying it's important for you to have experience and for you to have film, because your film can go out before you and pave the way for you. I went to a lot of tryouts, and in most of those tryouts, it was a bunch of guys coming, but the team already knew the one guy they wanted to see play, or the 2 guys they wanted to see play, because that relationship was already there. And so they were just using the tryout to collect, trial fees from all of us. And also at the same time to see how that other guy was going to hold his own against us, and make sure he was the guy that they wanted, or they were the guy with just 2 or 3 guys. But most of the time it's just 1 or 2 dudes. And I just had the opportunity to help run the Windy City Bulls tryout last season. Same thing. We was there, and I kid you not, it was about 200 guys in that gym. And they were looking at 2 guys, and only 1 guy really made it. 1 guy made it on the team. So you have to understand what this whole thing is about, the reality of it all, And so you need a network, you need connections, and that means that you need to be talking to people. You need to be putting yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? And so I want you guys to understand that, because you got to start building that characteristic. You got to start building that skill set now, because if you really are saying to yourself, I want to go overseas, or I want to go to the NBA, I want to play in the G League, you got to start building those networks now. Because I tell you right now, when it comes time to it, you're going to need it. You're going to need it. Because I kid you, I feel like I've been to 20 or 30 tryouts, and basically the same thing. And out of those 20 or 30 tryouts, I made 2 teams. 2 teams I made. So, and I went to training camp for one of them and made the team and played the whole season for another one. So that's really where I just want to give you that information so you know what to do with it, so you can say, hey, this is it. All right, this is the work I have before me. How can I get past that? Because I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made, So when I was going through those trials, it was tough, man. It was tough. You paying $100, $200 to go to a trial, and you get in there and it's 40, 50 other guys, and they all clamoring for the maybe 2 or 3 spots, on a team, if that. And then after that, you didn't go to training camp. Training camp was 2 weeks, and I'm at training camp, and it's great. But, it's 17 other guys outside of the 3 guys that they chose from the trial. And all 3 of us got let go at the end after the first 2 weeks because they just kept all the guys they had already. So those are the things that happen, but you got to have that resilience, and you got to have that network and that support system to keep you going in this world. Because if you endeavoring to get to that next level professionally, it's going to take some work, man. It's going to take some work, take some tough skin. You're going to have to hear some people say some negative stuff about you and not let it impact you. I remember I was at one trial, I felt like I was killing the whole trial. I was like, man, I'm doing great. And I was like, they didn't pick me up. And I went up to one of the coaches, was like, hey, why y'all not picking me? He looked at me and he said, "You're too skinny," and walked away. And I was saying to myself, like, man, Reggie Miller is a toothpick and he in the league. So, you know, this is what happens though. So I want y'all to understand, like, those things are going to happen to you. I don't want you to lose the fight that's inside of you. I don't want you to lose the determination, because that's going to make you a better person at the end of the day. And even if you don't make it to that level you want to get to, that journey is more important than anything. Because that journey is going to make you realize who you really are. You know, it ain't always the destination, it's the journey. You know, like, we love going on road trips for a reason, because you're going on road trips, you're seeing a bunch of scenery and everything like that. Yeah, you're going somewhere, but a lot of times the road trip is what's great. It ain't the destination. You get like destination, like, oh man, this is okay, great. I saw, you know, whatever you saw. And then you get back in the car and drive back home and it's fun again. So I want you to understand that that journey is important, and it's going to develop you and grow you into who you're going to become as a man if you allow it to, if you take ownership of it and not just sit back and be like, oh, this is what happened to me. No, this is what happened for you. These things that you're going through are happening for you to make you a better person. Not happening to you, happening for you. And you guys got to know that. Now I'm talking too much, CP.
I was letting you go. I was feeling that. That was motivation for me. I like that. But no, I agree with everything you said, Coach. Now I'm thankful that you came on and elaborated a lot of the top things that they needed to hear. Not only for me, like I always say, you know, I can only say so much and do so much, but I love when I have men that's been on those journeys and played those parts and kind of talk to these young men more than what I could tell them. So I appreciate you coming on tonight and get them some wisdom, because I think it's needed.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm happy to be here. I'm grateful for the invitation, and it's been a pleasure talking to you, young men. I'm just wishing you all success and everything that you're doing.
And thank you to you too, Chris. I'm glad that you are out there hooping. You know, I'm at Parkway Central now, so I'm repping for you.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, I'm gonna let everybody go ahead and enjoy the night. A lot of basketball on TV tonight. I hope you all watch
Yeah.
some basketball, good basketball. You know, Warriors are Boston. That's all I'm going for. But I will see y'all at training. And Coach, I'll wrap with you later on this week about some potential recruitment. So hopefully we can
For sure.
fit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you guys for tonight, and you guys have a great night.
All right, you guys.
You too, Coach.
Have a good one, guys.